Hi guys, Josh Biedorf here with Mountain View Chiropractic. So our last vlog we talked quite a bit about fasting, and we got a lot of feedback about fasting. And one of the biggest questions we had about fasting is, do you have to fast to become keto adapted and to reap all the benefits of being in a state of ketosis? And the answer is no. The fasting is just an easier way to get there faster. So again, there's two ways to go about it. Either the fast and furious, which is going to entail some sort of fasting. And again, the idea is that we clear glucose out of the way. And once glucose is out of the way, now our body has the ability to go looking for fat to turn into ketones to run for that as fuel. And my analogy is this always. It's kind of like in our houses. We have the refrigerator that's usually in our house. And our fridge has a lot of food in there that's very bioavailable. We can go get it, grab it out, eat real quick. Well, our body is very similar, is that our body won't go looking for other fuel sources until all the food in the fridge is gone. So we have to burn through all of our glucose and our glycogen stores first, and then we're going to have to walk out in the garage to the deep freeze, get some food out of there, thaw it, and get it ready. And that's what ketones is in our body. So the other way to go about it is just to really dial in and be really tight with our macronutrient profile. So if we look at what it should be in a ketogenic state or a ketogenic diet, is you want to have about 70 to 80% of your calories from fat, 20-ish% from lean protein, and 5% from carbohydrates. And as we look at that macronutrient profile, we got to talk about our good fats versus our bad fats, which we'll get into a little more as we move forward in our next lecture. To truly know if you are keto adapted or not, we do have to make sure we check that. And at first you can check it with either a finger prick and blood test, or there's a machine called a ketonics, which measures your breath. So those are the two most accurate ways to do it. The urine strips are very inaccurate, so you won't get a very good reading from that. It's kind of good at first as your body releases a lot of them, but over the course of a little while it won't. And the other way, once we know we're keto adapted, we don't have to keep checking that, but we want to make sure that we're between about 0.3 and 3 millimolars. That's how many ketones we need to know if we are keto adapted. Once that's done, and once we know that we are keto adapted, then our body has the ability to know it by how we feel. Less brain fog, more energy, not having the constant cravings. Your body will know, it'll tell you if you're keto adapted or not. And the final thing then is the fun part. If we are going to implement a little bit of a fasting into our diet, we always want to make sure we add feasting to that as well. Just like our ancestors, there was times to feast and there was times to fast. So usually in my week's typical week, Monday through Friday, I do the intermittent fasting like we talked about. And on the weekends, usually on Saturday, a day to a day and a half, we'll do a little bit more of a feast. And the reason why that is we want to double up our carbohydrate, double up our protein, because if we don't have a little bit of a feast inside of that, insulin becomes too low. And in the absence of insulin for a long enough period of time, our body thinks we're starving. And if our body thinks we're starving, it's going to start stealing protein from our muscles and use that to turn into glucose. So we have to let our bodies know on about an every week basis that we're not starving. So we can use that as a feast-fast cycle. If there's a big day coming up, or there's graduation or a wedding or a vacation or something on those sorts, we can do a feast, and when we get back to our normal routine, we can incorporate our fasting back into that. So that's one of the main reasons why I feel being in a keto adapted state is very sustainable for a long period of time, because you never have to be in a very long deprivation time. And for me, the weekends work for my feast days. However, if you have something else come up midweek and it works better for you, it doesn't just have to be on the weekend. But for most of us, it seems like it's better in those regards. So next week, we're going to continue on this dialogue about what are good fats versus bad fats. And we'll have a downloadable PDF that you'll be able to get next week. It'll be on our Facebook page. So make sure you like us on Facebook. All the add-ons will be listed up on our Facebook page. Thanks. Have a great day. If you have any questions, feel free to press in.